Our next speaker, as a child, was a female Forrest Gump. Everyone knew she was different. When she went to school, she was labeled. She had learning disabilities and physical differences that made her stand out. This girl's different. She had dyslexia, she couldn't talk very well, and she was legally blind. By 8th grade, she was 6 feet tall. And she had childhood cancer. She was a cancer survivor. Her parents, Delbert and Martha, said, we're not going to have spent this much time, money, and emotional stress battling to keep you alive just to give up. So as speakers, we have a message. We have something that we have to share with the world. Well, is it any wonder that Jeanie speaks about bullying, about child and children and adults making fun of other people? She grew up as that female Forrest Gump. I think that's a great story. But we're not going to hear anything about that today. Jeanie's going to tell us instead about how she has developed a system for selling herself that created a 6-figure contract for her. We're all going to learn how to take it to the bank. So please welcome Jeanie Cisco Meth.
So, how many of you are doing exactly what you love? That's it? Like 5 of you? Really? That's it? Okay. Not all the time. Okay, there we go. There we go. How many of you would like to make a lot of money doing exactly what you love? Yeah? There we go. So, is it okay if I tell you just a little bit about myself before we get into bank? Is that okay? This is, yes, this is, no, perfect. Okay. So, in 2012, I found myself as a 17-year high school teacher. And that is where my program, Bully Proofing You, Taming the Bully Between Your Ears, comes from. It's because I saw firsthand that devastation that can happen when someone is bullied and they allow it to make them a victim for the rest of their life. And so I developed a program called Bully Proofing You. What a novel idea, right? But you see, when you go from the classroom to the stage, it's a little bit different. So in 2012, I feel very lucky to have found the NSA chapter and some really supportive people that helped me tremendously. How many of you are enjoying your time here at the NSA? Yeah? That deserves a clap. That is really good. So they helped me hone my message. They helped me get on stages. At that time, it was just me. How many of you have called someone, or now I travel quite a bit. I love traveling. It's part of the reason I became a speaker. But you like to travel. And so how I started marketing, I said, where do I want to go? Right? And then I'd call them. So in July, guess where I'm going? Hawaii. Right? So sometimes you look at that map or you look at that area and you go, what do I do? At least I did. I don't know if that ever happened to you, but I would get overwhelmed and go, who do I market to? Where do I talk? You see, when I was a high school teacher, my students were delivered, well, not really, I taught it in alternative high. So they were delivered to my classroom, right, and then had to sit there and listen to me, because it was an alternative high. Thank you, Steve, for playing along. And so now all of a sudden I'm going from the classroom where everybody is brought to me to selling what I do, yes? Now I don't know about you, but I would call people and I'd say, hey, I have this incredible training, it's so amazing. It will help your students be more productive. It will help your students have a better life. It will help your students decrease absenteeism. What do you think happened? That's a real question. What do you think happened? Send me your one sheet. Oh man, I was so excited. Yeah? Anybody had that? Send me your one sheet? And then like a week, and then 2 weeks, and then you're like, and you call back, and they're like, who? Now I have a little bit of a unique advantage. My last name is Cisco Meth. Not crystal meth, Cisco Meth. And in high school, I became known as the crackhead teacher. Now, not just because I'm a little bit crazy, but because I'd hand out my disclosure document, And they would go, Meth? Really? That's your name, Meth? Do you have a daughter named Crystal? I did mention I taught at the alternative high, right? 420 was the other day. A little bit of a sad note. We always would lose students every 420. It's very sad. Anyways, moving on from that. Some of you are getting that. Moving on from that, I would sit down, I started going face to face. I love you. That's what that means, right? I started going face to face, where I'd be calling people, and I'd make a sell, and I'd be so excited, right? I'd go, oh, that was amazing, that was incredible. And then the very next day, I'd call someone, and I wouldn't make a sell. Has anyone ever had that happen to them before? That's okay, you can fix it. Nothing, just close your eyes. It's okay. It's all professional here. Has anybody ever had that happen? You make a sell, and you think you've got it right, and it's incredible, and then you use the same presentation and you don't get the sell. Has anyone had that happen? Or is it just me, floundering around, flopping around like a fish, right? Going, what is it? Then, bank came along. Now, bank is an acronym. I did not design this program. My program is Bully Proofing You. This program was designed by Sherry Tree, an incredible woman. I absolutely love Sherry Tree. She is incredible, and I am a licensed and certified trainer for her, and I feel very privileged to have been trained by her. Bank helps you get more prospects, create larger deals, right? Get more sales, all of those wonderful things. We're going to skip over this because there we go. Les, how many of you have heard of Les Brown? He was just here recently. Did anybody get to go see him? How they get motivated? Oh, he's awesome, isn't he? Les Brown says that bank is a game changer. That every entrepreneur should use bank. And we have his quote right here on the back, so if you'd like to read it. But every entrepreneur, if you're in sales, you need to use bank. I love bank. Now let's talk for a moment. How many of you have flown recently? And I love flying. Even with that, I just love flying. So, but as you're sitting on the tarmac, right now, anybody here been in the military before? Thank you for your service. I appreciate that. And flying commercially is a little bit different than flying militarily with the military. So I'm going to explain flying with the military because I don't get this fear as much commercially. But when you're sitting on the tarmac in a C-130 and they've got a bunch of gear loaded up and you're sitting there with it because you're taking a hop somewhere, and that thing starts shaking and rattling and you're like, oh Lord, help us now, are we going to make it? Right? Have you ever experienced that? I had it happen in one commercial flight. I got in with my daughter, this is quite some time ago, and my daughter goes, Mama, I smell smoke. And they evacuated us about a minute and a half later because yes, there was some problems. But have you ever been worried that you weren't going to take off? Nobody just hurt? I feel your pain, right? What happens with an airplane, it must reach velocity speed. It's called V2. I don't have a lot of time to go into that. But if it does not reach V2, what do you think happens at the end of the runway? We're crashing and burning, right? Not a pretty sight. If I don't reach V2 in my business, what happens? I crash and burn, right? Now, I've had the privilege of doing this for 4 years now, and that's because I finally hit velocity. You all have a very, very important message. I'm going to say that again. You all have a very, very important message that you must share with the world. Because this world is made up of a fabric. And if you don't weave your section, there's going to be a hole that no one else can fill. And so it's my dream to make sure that you reach velocity in your business. Because way too many crash and burn. I don't want that to happen to you. I sure didn't want it to happen to me. Right? You call people, those great people that send you that email say, Jeanie, you had an incredible message. You gotta get it out there. You gotta get it out there, Jeanie. Well, could you pay But in October 2015, 3.5 years after I went from the classroom to this stage, I signed my first $100,000 contract. Anybody here think that's pretty cool?
Yes.
Maybe I'll make a lot more than you, but man, I was freaking stoked. I was so stoked. I'm like, yeah. What happened? How did I do this? Right? What I realized, how many of you have heard that sales is a numbers game? Yeah? And to get more yeses, you have to get more. Did anybody, when they first heard that, go, what the freak is that? Did anyone, or was it just me? I said the other word. I told you, I grew up in the military. I grew up, I was in an alternative. I said the other word. Right? That doesn't make any sense. So what I learned was, it's not that you need more no's, you need more yeses. Because yeses are yeses. They're not no's. The average salesperson does 57 times more business. 57 times more business. Can you give me a time count back there? I've looked at you a couple of times, but I'm not paying attention. Perfect. You're awesome. So, does the average salesperson work 57 times more hours? Do they generate 57 times more lead? Do they see 57 times more people? Now, if you think about your business right now, could you work 57 times more? I couldn't. I mean, as an entrepreneur, you're working from way in the morning until late at night, right? Thank goodness for the East Coast, and we're now in a global business because you can work 24 hours a day because somebody's up somewhere, right? Jeff McGee, my mentor, taught me how to start calling at 6 o'clock in the morning because they're open on the East Coast. Then you get to work clear until 6 or 7 at night because you're on the West Coast. I blew it out from there and I went global. I went global. It's not 57 times more. It's getting more yeses. How do I get more yeses? Sherry Tree has designed an incredible system to help you do just that. How many of you have ever taken a personality test? Okay? They're neat, aren't they? Most sales trainings teach you more about sales. And Sherry Tree had this idea. If business is a people business, why don't we study more people? I went, duh, now that makes sense. That makes sense to me. And so she started designing a program that is all about people and understanding people, and that's bank. Now, she didn't come up with the personality testing. I'm sure that you guys have seen and heard many personality tests. You've all talked about some of them. You see, Hippocrates came up with it over 2,500 years ago. And from there, you have all of the different personality traits. Now you know I'm a crackhead teacher. I move around all the time and lose stuff, right? What she came up with, Sherry took the 4 personality types and turned them into specific names that spell out bank. You have blueprint, you have action, you have nurturing, and you have knowledge. Every person has parts of these in them. So when I would sit down across from that person who happened to be the same bank code that I would deliver the exact presentation that they needed to hear. And I would get a
Yes.
yes. I would get a yes. I was so excited. Then I'd go to someone else who had a different bank code, but I would deliver my perfect presentation and I would get a I know. I know. It wasn't the presentation, it was the reception. Because I wasn't giving them what they needed to hear. So 1 in 4 times, I was delivering the perfect presentation. But 3 out of 4 times, I was delivering the wrong presentation. Now you see, bank is not designed to give you 100% of the closes. That's not what it does. But it will guarantee that you deliver the proper presentation 100% of the time. When I started using this system, my next 8 deals closed. That's incredible. When you shorten a close cycle from 2 or 3 months to 1 or 2 phone calls, how many of you would like some of that? Right? I did, and I use it, and I absolutely love it. Now, not only are you giving the wrong presentation to the wrong person, but you're spoon feeding them the very next person that comes along because they just said no to you. Now, Tony Robbins, anybody here know Tony Robbins? Yeah? This is yes, this is no. Okay. Tony Robbins says, let your prospect determine your presentation. Not me, not what I want to hear, because that's usually what we talk from, correct? Well, this is what I want to hear. I want to know the facts, and I want to know all the data and the research. That's knowledge. Man, what's the bottom line? Just get me to the deal. Will this help my community? Will this build better teams? What is the step-by-step process that we use? That is what Bank is all about. It helps you crack the personality code so you know exactly what to say. Now, how many of you saw the Da Vinci Code? Right? And he had to crack the cryptex to get out the secret to the Holy Grail. That's what you're doing with Bank. You're getting the secret on what helps them and what motivates them. There's 4 different personality types, and you guys are very lucky, because on Saturday, we're going to be going into these on depth. I have 11 tickets that I'll be giving away for free for that presentation this Saturday. Please see me. I'll give you a card with a number on it, and yes, you may bring a friend. Okay, if you want to attend, just let me know. There's a 2-day training that this goes into that you will get a very, very steep discount to. Can we say free? Free is good, right? So those people that see me at this event and then show up on Saturday will get the training that I speak about for free. It usually costs $1,500. Is that a good bonus? Something that you can make a contract of $100,000 for free? I want some applause on that, my goodness. Now, I don't have time to go into all of these different ones now, because we've got 3 minutes left. And so what I want to do is I want to tell you a little bit about what you're going to get Saturday.